Hello and welcome back to Berserker, and we're going to be fighting this guy. I actually wonder whether we've fought this fellow before, because I think we have. He said, "It's nice to see you again," or something along those lines when we first encountered him, and I'm thinking, oh yeah, wait a minute. I think maybe we did, and this was one of the first vassals that we eliminated. Now, obviously, this is probably one of the best ways that you can level up your roguery skill, especially considering this guy is not going to be too difficult to capture. Bear in mind, however, that I do have a lot of recruits. I have been attempting to replenish my ranks and to try and do the best I can in that regard, because obviously some mistakes were made in previous episodes where I've decided to do an auto-resolve where an auto-resolve was probably not the best idea. So that's generally the reason why we are a little bit depleted in that case. But I'm continuing to level up, of course, and thankfully due to my HP scaling mod, I now have 124 HP, which is pretty amazing actually. Because at this point, if you didn't have the mod, you'd still have 100 HP. Unless you took any of those skills, of course, that I generally think are kind of useless. But obviously, if you add them all up, sometimes, you know, maybe it's going to make a bit of a difference. You know, maybe you're going to have, I don't know, what, 115 HP or something? 120 maybe, if you're picking every single one. But most of those are very good to take the alternatives of. So that's obviously a bit of a problem. Anyway, these guys are lake rats. Lake rats, as we know, they are not that good. So I'm very much hoping I will be able to maybe do some damage to some of them. Although... Oh, nice hit! Nice! I actually did not think I'd be able to hit anyone from here, but yeah, I did. Very nice indeed. Can I level up my throwing skill a little bit more? Just a little bit. Oh, there we go. We actually did hit a couple of people. Unfortunately, my focus points in throwing are very minimal at the moment, so of course I'm not really going to have the utmost efficiency in leveling it up. But of course, roguery is where it's at the moment, and that's the reason why I'm going to attempt to, you know, try my best to level that up as fast as possible. So after this, I will make my way over to the nearest town, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to survive. I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm going to win this, but maybe I'm being a bit too confident. I'm not sure. Well, there it is. Easy enough, and Melissa is actually doing a much better job than she was last time, because obviously in the previous episode I did manage to give her a lot of very nice gear, and that is indeed helping her quite a bit. Anyway, there's some additional prisoners. We're going to, of course, take the vassal himself prisoner as well, and then we're going to go over to my party screen in just a second, and we're just going to level up all of these units. That's really nice. And I think, yes, look at this. We have so many different perks that we can spend now. This is fantastic. All right, we're actually almost level 13 as well, so that's really nice. Anyway, increase heal rate by 15% when mobile on the world map, and recover 10 HP lost after each offensive battle, or increases healing rate by 30% when stationary in the world map. Personally, I like Walk It Off much more, because recovering 10 HP after each offensive battle, that can be very useful indeed, so I'm going to do that. Roguery is also leveled up. Okay, fantastic. Double the amount of betting you can use in tournaments. That sounds really fun to me, so we will probably do that. Yes, I think we will do that. And athletic skill increases your hit point regeneration by 10% while waiting in settlements, and foot troops in your party gain 10 XP every day while waiting in settlements, and increase your hit point regeneration by 10% while traveling, and foot troops in your party gain 3 XP every day while traveling. Okay, this is actually kind of strange. So basically, they have done it in such a way so that you have Walk It Off twice. One of these, look at this. This is called Walk It Off, and this is called Walk It Off. So they have two different perks that are named exactly the same thing, and they do relatively similar stuff as well. However, I personally feel like Walk It Off in the athletics tree is much better than a Good Day's Rest, because you could see here, Good Day's Rest that still gives you 10% hit point regeneration, which is exactly the same as Walk It Off. And generally, you are going to be running around much more than you're going to be waiting, at least in my opinion. So I'm going to be taking Walk It Off once again, and the experience gain is very negligible in the first place, so it really makes no difference whatsoever. Alright, so we're back at Onira, and you may have already noticed that the Northern Empire have made peace with us. As you can see, the Northern Empire and the Sturgians have made peace. I still find it super weird that we are at war against the Khuzait, although generally in the northern area, it kind of makes sense. They are pretty much the only two factions next to each other, and they are going to go at it like no one's business. They really do not like each other one bit. Anyway, let's ransom our prisoners right there. We gain 2 roguery skill points. Ugh. I don't know. I don't even know what's going on with the skills. They are taking a long time to level up. But, you know, that's just how it is. It's an RPG at the end of the day, or has RPG elements if you so desire, because, let's face it, some people may not consider it an RPG because of various factors. But anyway, I'm just going to sell most of the armor here. And, oh yeah, that's something that I really want to do. Let's go into the Bearzerker's armaments. And I'm going to actually change something right now. Okay, so I obviously have seen that. Some of you have commented that some of my units have some skill points left over. Okay, so there's a reason for that. I don't know what else is actually necessary for me to spec into, considering the weapons and gear that they're using, because they don't have horses, so riding skill is pointless. They don't use crossbows, they don't use bows, so both of those skills are pointless, and they don't use polearms, so again, pointless. Otherwise, they have all reached their skill cap of 170 with one-handed, two-handed, athletics, and throwing, so there's nothing else I can do, which is kind of unfortunate, but yeah. Anyway, let's take a look at this. I kind of like how they look, to be honest. But this kilt over plated leather, I don't know how bulky that is. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to change this weapon, and I'm going to change it to empty. And then I'm basically just going to leave it like so, because that will then increase their speed by a small amount. And hopefully that's gonna work out nicely for us. I mean, generally, wait a minute, let me see if I can do something here. So let me see, I haven't actually shown you how this really works. Oh yeah, by the way, I selected leather as my filter type. That was it. I selected leather because I thought to myself, okay, that's probably gonna be pretty good to select, because then you're going to 100% get leather armor, which is probably not going to be that weighty. But you can see here, just look at some of this stuff. Where's the... there's the kilt. Okay, so there's the kilt. It is a weight of 16, which is not that bad. Its armor tier at the moment is 6. It gives 42 to body armor, 23 to leg, and 3 to arm. That is not bad in my opinion. However, I could go for something like this, which is just straight up leather armor, which gives 22 to body armor, so that's 20 body armor less. It does give a little bit more arm armor, and obviously the leg armor is much less. So that's the thing. Do we care about the weight? I think yes. But I also think maybe not. I don't know, because I mean on the... Oh, wait a minute. The thick brigandine vest might be good, because this is a weight of 4.5. And it also has some pretty good body armor. So let's try the thick brigandine vest then for these guys. And we'll see how that goes. Because the previous armor that they were wearing was 14 or 16 in terms of weight. And that's a bit too much in my opinion. So let's see how that goes. Hopefully the game is not going to crash. Is it? No. Okay, it's not going to crash. Phew. Okay. You know how it is. Sometimes that kind of thing happens just out of the blue, randomly. Anyway, let's... ooh, wow, that massive army over there. Wouldn't want to be at war against the Southern Empire right now. That would be kind of harsh. Anyway, oh, this guy needs help with brigands. This is actually fantastic. Okay, this is perfect. I will hunt down 3 bands of brigands then for you. And I will be... Come on, then. Yeah, there we go. Okay. I was waiting for the quest to mark these guys, and I was like, okay, can you mark them already? Thank you. Because I would very much like to eliminate them. I don't know. Yeah, auto-resolve does seem to make a difference with those, so that's actually fantastic. And we can now also attack these two. Hopefully that's going to count as two separate groups. I don't think it does if you tackle them all in the same battle. But if it does... Oh, it does. Okay, fantastic. I've had times in the past where that hasn't actually worked, so I'm pretty happy to see that it does now. And now we can recruit from this place. Okay, great. So let's continue to just go around here a little bit. This guy doesn't like me, but there's no task, so I obviously cannot do anything about that. Akalat is... Actually, what? Akalat has been taken by the Southern Empire. Hello there, another vassal. Let's attack him. Oh, yeah. Let's do this. Okay. Oh, this is... Oh, okay, okay. I did not realize how bad my numbers actually are. And we are so significantly even with this guy that we basically just have one less. Although, wait a minute. Is he literally fighting with some step bandits right now? It seems to me like he is indeed fighting with some step bandits alongside him. That is kind of weird. Anyway, let's try and get a couple of kills with my thrown weapons right here. Never gonna happen in a million years. But, oh, I actually hit something. Wow, if you can believe it. Obviously, hitting a horse is really very, very useless. Oh, that guy got murdered. You know, whenever I'm on target, boom, the guy gets killed. Oh, there we go, there we go. Nice. Yeah, and then of course he runs away. Can I kill this guy at least? Yes, there we go. I finally got to 50 throwing weapon proficiency. Obviously that really makes no difference whatsoever because in general, it is not going to be something that I will end up really relying on too much. And of course my focus points do not really allow it that often either. Anyway, let's take a look. Okay, the enemies are actually all the way over here. Thankfully, we might move faster now, I think. Is that true? Do you think my forces are moving faster? It seems like they're moving just as slowly as they were before. Well, at the very least, they are not having huge amounts of thrown weapons now, I guess. But I had hoped that their armor would actually make a pretty significant difference. Because I have about the same athletic skill that they do, but maybe they've taken different perks. That's the thing. I don't think I can actually choose their perks individually, or specify which perks my troops should take. So obviously that has a big effect, and considering most troops are not going to have things like steward skill and stuff like that, so that's obviously going to make a pretty significant difference. You know, they don't have roguery, they don't have medicine, they don't have any of these things, so obviously it's going to make more of a difference than not. Alright, so how well did it go? Did it go better? Did it go worse? Not entirely sure, to be honest. I can't really tell, because on the one hand, we did lose 6 units. Would we have lost those units if my units actually had better armor? That's the question that we have to ask ourselves now, because in the grand scheme of things, you want them to be running relatively fast, obviously, because they are indeed berserkers, and that's the reason why I was talking about that in the previous episode. I very much want them to move around as fast as they possibly can on the fields of battle, because that's going to be the thing that makes or breaks an army, especially against cavalry units, because you want them to be super nimble, super quick, and you don't want them to get, you know, dredged in just running after these cavalry all the time, and you want them to actually have the ability to deal with them without too many difficulties. But sometimes you can't do that, you know. Sometimes you just gotta sustain the damage, and that's the reason why the protection from some of this armor is somewhat necessary potentially. Oh, look at this, the Sturgians will start allowing lords tolls on the road. Okay, good to know that. Anyway, I think what we're gonna have to do is a nice little raid. Let's do it. And we did level up our throwing skill, so let's see what we can do. Melee usage of melee weapon. Wait. Melee usage of thrown weapons deals 10% more damage, and infantry gains plus 15 to all control skills. Ranged troops gain plus 15 to all vigor skills. Now, that's actually one of the things that I really like to see. Perks being rather unique in the way that they manipulate the various skills and perks of your unit or of yourself. I think that makes a huge difference. And let's have a look what else this is. 40% more damage with throwing weapons against horses. Okay, I'm going to take this literally just because of the 8% more damage with thrown weapons against mounts for my people, because then we're going to be able to take cavalry units down even faster, and I'm never going to use the melee usage thrown weapon thing in the other perk selection. So that's what we'll do. And then we have 180, well, 175 technically to take in the two-handed. So your kills with two-handed have a 30% higher effect on friendly troops battle morale, and your party limit is increased by 5. And your kills with two-handed weapons have 20%. What? Oh, on enemy troops. Ah, okay. So it either improves your own troops' battle morale, or it decreases the enemy troops' battle morale. I think friendly troops is probably going to be better for me. I would much rather make it so that our forces continue fighting, because if they're fighting, it's more than likely we'll achieve something much better. Anyway, I'm going to give another focus point to cunning, well, another attribute point to cunning and another focus point to roguery, and then we will move on. Oh, hello there. And then we will move on. Oh, don't get involved. Yeah, I always find that irritating when you're not able to involve yourself in these kinds of situations, but there we go. I just had to wait, and now we're just going to attack. We're just going to go for a nice little auto-resolve right there. Pretty easy. No worries whatsoever about that. I'm going to take these troops just because they are indeed cavalry, and I can literally just send them in randomly, and if they end up dying, then, well, that's not that big a deal because they're just raiders, and they didn't really cost me anything. They're just free, you know? Try to upgrade Marauder to a troop that doesn't exist. Really? Why not? Why doesn't it exist? I have no idea. Okay, wait a minute. Control Shift. Okay, that doesn't seem to make any difference. Oh well. Never mind. I don't have any war horses as far as I'm aware anyway, so I don't see why it should really make a difference to me. But anyway, let's raid this village. They need draft animals, but I personally don't care. Raid them, raid them, raid them. There we go. Let's just do a nice little auto-resolve, get them out the way super fast. Bear in mind, I do have some prisoners, so it is going to slow me down if a vassal does want to say hi. But, hello. Oh. You should see my face right now. I am so annoyed. Not that annoyed, but still. Rather, shall we say, irritated. A little bit irritated, because I thought to myself, yes, we're going to finally get to maybe level up our roguery skill a little bit more and, you know, go on from there and then see what we can do. Maybe I can get to 75 roguery or something. No. Of course they're going to make peace with them. Of course they are going to do that. Anyway, there is a stitched cured leather coat available in the tournament here. So I thought, hey, why not? Let's try and see what we can do. Maybe it's actually good for us. It actually doesn't seem that good, to be honest. It's a much weightier piece of armor, and generally it's not going to result in that much. However, look at this. Oh yeah. Remember that that perk that we just got? The roguery perk? That allows me to bet double the amount of money in tournaments? Well, here it is, and now this is giving me a much greater reward, which is really nice. Unfortunately, I now have to use a polearm. Yes, polearms are not my strong suit, and riding a horse is even less, although I am actually doing remarkably well. Well, that was easy enough. Did you hear that guy? He was like, "Oh, cut you," and then he died. Yeah, that's Bannerlord AI in a nutshell, kind of, pretty much. Yeah, sometimes at least. Anyway, let's see if I can maybe eliminate this guy. Ah, there we go. That was a noble super bear straight away, taking him down. That was one of the enemies that I was going to be very worried about. Nice. Ooh, a little bit too slow on the swing for me. Oh, nice. There we go. Wow, I'm kind of surprised that we're leveling up our polearms so fast here. Wouldn't have expected that. And I have a bow. Are you serious? Is this a joke? Okay, well, let me just try and do some damage. I have no idea where the other enemy is. There it is. Do I have a sword? Yeah, I do have a sword. So I technically could switch to that, but I've been hitting so far. So I thought to myself, well, maybe I should just stay with this and see what happens. Maybe I'll actually get a little bit of extra skill here. Wow, this guy is taking arrows like candy for some reason. Look at this. I've literally done like, what, 100 damage to him so far? There we go. Now he's dead. That was easy. They literally were just clobbering my teammate, and I could just relax and, you know, do what I do best, which is just stand there and miss a whole bunch of shots. And hopefully I'm not going to get... Ooh, not going to get shot by the thrown weapon guy. Wow, he... What? What was that? That guy was so weird. I was thinking to myself, oh, he's gonna do something really good, because he's an Imperial Sergeant Crossbowman. They are not pushovers by any means, even in melee combat. They can be quite dangerous, but apparently he decided that he would just, well, not do anything at all, apparently. Anyway, we're not at war against anyone right now, and I am indeed a mercenary, so my wages are going to go way down, unfortunately, so I guess the only thing that I can do is kind of supplement that by either doing some trading, which might work, because I do have actually quite a lot of materials from raiding. So I was actually hoping to get that from the iron ore village that we just attempted to raid at the end there, just before we had a peace agreement come in. So obviously, yes, that really didn't help me out that much at all. Anyway, let's just continue recruiting units. As I said, I do want to get about 100 units. About 100 units would be pretty good for like a raider party. I think that might be quite nice. Anyway, let's see if I can just do a little bit of refining here. We're now we're actually 75 in smithing, which is really nice. And I can also do a little bit of this, and we might be able to get some new parts here as well. Let's just scroll down and see what we can do. Yeah, there's a whole bunch. Nice. And there's a pitchfork there as well. There we go. And we have harpoons as well. That could potentially give us something really, really good. And yeah, as I found out in a previous episode, apparently the developers of Bannerlord have finally done something about the scaling of the thrown weapons and how much they end up giving you in terms of smithing experience, as well as how much they give you when you sell them. So that's pretty nice. Of course, you can fix that yourself through Chaos's tweaks if you want to. So if you personally felt like, you know, it was too much, then you can of course change that however you like. That's the reason why that mod is so incredibly nice, because you get the opportunity to change the game however you want. You can make it harder, you can make it easier, you can pretty much do whatever you want to do and suit it to your own needs, which is really good. Anyway, I'm gonna just try to get as much charcoal as possible, I suppose. Shall we try and do an order? We could try and do an order. A throwing axe. Okay, you want this? Okay, I'll try to do that. This is not gonna work, is it? Yeah. This. I have a bad feeling about this. Yeah, I have a very bad feeling about this. Okay, let me see. So it needs to have good weapon reach. So it needs to have 41 weapon reach, and everything else is suited. So let's just do this, I guess. Or we could do this and then increase it. Yeah. Okay, let's do that. Because that's going to reduce its difficulty. Or should it? No, apparently it's not reducing its difficulty at all. This is very strange, I gotta say. This is a very strange way of doing this. Giving me a throwing axe to be made, but look at the difficulty of the actual order. The difficulty of the order is only 50, but the difficulty of making the axe is 200. Right? Am I reading that correctly? The client is displeased. This is worse than what I've asked for. I'm cutting 1,113 from the price. You should see my face. Really? I mean, okay, here's the deal with this. I don't mind if they basically have it so that, you know, the client is going to be annoyed if you make a subpar product. I mean, obviously that is a big deal. However, if you look at this, what do you see here? What's the most important thing that you want to look at when you're looking at the orders screen? It's the difficulty, right? In my opinion, at least, it's the difficulty. So if you're looking at the difficulty, that throwing axe, the order had a difficulty of 50. But the actual axe itself that I could create had a difficulty of 200. And now, I know what you're going to say. You're going to say something like, well, it's because you were using a tier 4, axe head. Well, yeah, that's probably the case. However, look at this. The tier 2 axe head is still going to give me a difficulty of 138. I mean, this probably would have worked. Oh well. This probably would have worked, but generally, I feel like if an order says that it's going to be 50 difficulty, then it should be a 50 difficulty in terms of its crafting as well. So it shouldn't just be like, okay, here you go, here's a 50 difficulty thing, and then you think, oh, okay, I should be able to do that, and then all of a sudden it turns out that you can't. So it kind of puts a little bit of a spanner in the works there for you. Which is kind of sad. Anyway, long saber blade. I'm thinking that might be fun. That might be fun to make. What about this? Ooh, I like these a lot. Fine steel saber blade. I like these a great deal. So I'm hopeful that maybe we'll be able to do something with this. I'd like a different handle if at all possible. Maybe a one-handed / two-handed handle. Like this, for example. This is looking pretty nice. Let's make the handle a little bit shorter. The weapon reach is pretty bad. Not sure about this, to be honest. It's gonna be worse than what I have right now. I can just see it right now that it is. I mean, let's try it, shall we? Let's try it and see what happens. I just need to get a little bit more steel here. Oh, I actually need more of this. Fine steel, and I can't do that until I actually... Okay, well, what about this then? Yeah, there we go. But this is bad. I don't really like that blade. What about this blade? This is not a fine blade, but it's a long saber blade, so let's do something like that. The weapon reach is going to be a lot better, and it's going to be easier to make anyway. So let's do something like that. Does this actually change anything that much? Not really, just the weight and stuff like that, so not really that big a deal. Alright, let's try this out and see what happens. Gonna lose swing speed. That's not that bad. That's not that bad at all. Okay, let's call it something then. Let's call it, oh no. I am so terrible at naming things. Slaying sort of nameless skill. Yes, there we go. Fantastic. What? I gained 12 skill points as a result of that? Apparently the nameless skill sword was fantastic. Very good. Okay, I'm pleased with that. So we have leveled up our smithing a great deal, which I gotta say is quite surprising. What? You could sell this for 18,000? Well, that's kind of surprising. Okay, so as you can see, this is the difference between my other sword and the new sword. It is quite dramatically better in terms of its damage. I think its reach is also better. Yeah, much better. And the handling is slightly better. But then obviously the swing speed is a little bit less. But I don't really mind that because of course it is a one-handed / two-handed sword, so that means that I'll be able to utilize it in either hand and I can level up both skills, which is exactly the reason why one of you suggested that I do that, and that is an extremely, extremely good suggestion, so I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Otherwise, we are going to go for Steelmaker 2, and I will be going for... I'm thinking... I'm gonna go for Steelmaker 3. Even though you do have the ability to have Experienced Smith, and as you can see, successful crafting orders give 2 relationship with notables. However, Steelmaker, as you can see here, successful crafting orders give 4 relationship with lords and ladies. So if, for example, if you go to a merchant or something like that in a town, then taking Experienced Smith is probably better. But if you make an order for a lord or a lady, then Steelmaker 3 is best. But I'm going to go for Steelmaker 3 in general because it allows you to turn 2 units of fine steel into 1 unit of Thermoskeen steel. And if I'm going to be doing higher tier weapons, then it's probably going to be much more important. Anyway, I'm going to go for maneuverability with any mounts that I go on because generally I am going to have such a low riding skill that having more maneuverability is definitely a good way to go. Decrease your bow accuracy loss due to movement, increases your headshot damage bonus. Okay, that is an easy choice because my bow skill, of course, is going to be so low that having less accuracy penalty is really good. So we're going to take that. There we have it. Okay, fantastic. Alright, so obviously as we are now no longer at war against anyone, I might decide to leave the kingdom and then join someone else as a mercenary because there does seem to be a little bit of a fight going on between Swadia and... between Vlandia. Yes, excuse me. Between Vlandia and someone else. But yeah, that's neither here nor there at the moment. I'm actually not entirely sure who they are at war against. So that is something to think about. I can't actually tell. Ah, there we go. They're at war against the Western Empire. That's probably going to end relatively soon anyway. But I guess we'll see. Anyway, that's going to be the end of this episode. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.